There we go. All right. Dafa Nun Hey, top line, Mishnah. Hanaydim one makes a nether from Dagon. Now, there's not what is the definition of Dagon? This is Machlekes. So, also, Pula Mitzri, Yavesh, Tivra Meir says, Meir, one is even forbidden. But in the Pula Mitzri is a type of bean, but only dry, something which gets stored. In addition to, we'll soon see, in addition to the Chamisha Minim, the 5 different grains. So in addition to that, we have other grains, things that are piled. So things that are piled, that is in the category of Dagon. No, only the 5 minim. 5 minim, the 5 grains, that is applied in the definition of Dagon and not anything else. Rameir is more inclusive of anything that's piled. Rameir, Eimer, no, if it's Tvua, then that is the Chamisha Minim. He's usher in anything that's piled. Except the fruits and vegetables, those aren't stored in piles the way that other things out from the field are stored in piles. Fine, that was the Mishnah. So Zak, the Gemara, Lamemra, the Dagan me call the Migdon Mashma, right? So to say that Dagan means anything that's piled, right? That was the interpretation. Yeah, please, thank you. That was the definition according to Rav Meir. So Rav Yosef is a kasha. So he brings the pasuk from Divya Yamim. It says over there, basically, when they were penalized to go, or not penalized, but the people weren't so careful with Chumas HaMaaseh, so they're all commanded to go ahead and bring in their pounds Yishalayim. So the Kapiras Hadoba Hirbu Bnei Yisrael. I'm just reading from the entire pasuk from the side. Hirbu Bnei Yisrael Reishis Dagan Tirash Vitza. They brought all the right. They brought all their grain and their oils and their wines with dvash and honey. The whole tvuas hasad and all the tvua of the field with meiser hakol aroiv heviu. So it says over there, Reishis Dagan. Dagan was the first item that was mentioned there. So now
the idgan you said means it's harvested at once.
Pile. It means piles. Yes.
Pile.
Yeah. Fine. So so it says there for it's had davar hirbu b'nei. So now I'm reading back in the Gemara. Hirbu b'nei. So Reishis Dagan tirash v'yitzav kol tfos hasad rav v'chulei. So Iyamar Dagan called the Migdon. So if you mean that Dagan means anything that's piled, mashra samai kifretz hadavar hirbu. Right, at the end of the pasuk it says it says over there at the end of the pasuk it says meiser hakol. Right, so what does that come to include? If you already included everything, what is it adding in the end of the pasuk that the olive is already referring to everything that he piled? To include Peras Elon, in other words, Dagon didn't include Peras Elon, and then it comes to the pasuk that not only do they have piles of anything that was on the field, right, but even Peras Elon and Yerek, those things were also brought.
Wait, so that means in that case?
In that case, right? Because that's why the pasuk needs to say more than just Reishis Dagan. Just stop there and Tirash V'Yitzar Vash. What's the Chol Tvus Hasada? What are you adding Chol Tvus Hasada? You already included everything in Dagan. So it means Chol Tvus Hasada that comes to include the fruits and the vegetables are also brought.
That's not a right for against Rabbi Meir work on.
Right. And now that's there.
It's
right. So over there, so Dagan, right. So Dagan could just be the 5 grains, or it could be anything that's piled. And but Tvua, that is only the Chamishas Minim. Some Rabbi Yechon call Meidim and Eidim in Tvua Sheini Aser El Chamishas Minim. That no one argues. That one makes another from Tvua. That's only referring to Chamishas Minim. And Tanya Amihachis and learn Shavin ben Eidim and Tvua makes another from Tvua Sheini Aser El Chamisha Minim. The one is Aser Chamisha Minim. So Gemara says Pshita. That's obvious. Bible says Moshe said Tvua Kol Milei Mashma Tvua, right? So if you learn very important right over here, right, for the later pshat of the Gemara. So it says Ma'udetema Tvua Kol Milei Mashma. Right, the Metargiminan Alalta, right? That the Taichavit, right? The targum of that is Alalta. And we'll soon see Alalta is brought in the Gemara. Alalta Mashma Kol Mile that means anything that's gained, right? So maybe you would have thought tavua, it comes from the alalta, which means any basically profit or gain. Kol mili mashma. So mashma lo mashma kol means not mashma. Everything it's only chamisha meaning is tavua. Fine. So look at the back of that pasuk. The pasuk he brought earlier, right? It says v'chol tvos hasad. That are referring to everything, not chamisha mean it. So he says, Amarava tvua lechud, tvua sada lechud. When it's just tvua, that is referring to just the chamisha meaning. When it's tvua hasada, then it includes everything as we interpreted earlier. Now, bar Mar Shmuel Pakid the Lisnun Tleisar Alfe Zuze Larava min Alalta Denahar Panya. So Mar Shmuel, right, one of his last commands, right, as he died in his will, he ordered that 13,000 zuz should be sent to Rabba value from the Alalta of Nahar Panya. That was a place, right, from the Alalta, from I guess the profits from Nahar Panya.
Amen.
Amen. So it says V'shalcha Rava l'kamei the Rabbi Yosef Alalta heichem ikra. So what's this Alalta? So Rabbi Yosef basizani. It's the Raisa. V'shavin ben noidim and Tuah shein asher elam chameshes mina. Right. Everyone agrees that Tuah, right, which is Alalta, that they're only asher chameshes mina. So in other words, basically saying send them 13,000 profit, right, from the grains and not the other business or whatever. Somebody abaye, some dummy. Tvule mashma. So who says me dummy? So tvule mashma el chamisha minim. Alalta kav al mile mashma. But what do you mean? So tvua is only is right the chamisha's minim, but the alalta is anything that profits or gains. So I wasn't asking, right, what alalta was, right? The alalta komile mashma. Alalta means anything that's profit. But this is the question: schar batim, schar svidos, right? The rent and the he's getting from the house and the boats. Mine. Do we say kevan de paschan level alalta? Do we say that it's not all profits, not all gains, because there is some sort of depreciation for the assets? Since it's not really so recognizable, right? The ongoing depreciation, then therefore maybe it's not considered to be depreciating asset, and therefore it's considered to be a lalta. So they explain to Rav Yosef, so now that he didn't need us, he knew what a lalta was. Why did he ask? So he got angry. He got angry, annoyed with Rava. So Shama Rava. So Rava heard that Rav Yosef wasn't so pleased with him. He also the Kippur came for him on Erev Kippur. Ashkeche l'shame. So he found his shamash havi called mazik kame kaisa dechamra. He was going ahead and mixing his cup of wine. He was diluting his kais with water and wine. So Amarle, so he said to the shamash, so he said to the attendant, Havli, so said Rabbatim, so give me Havli, the Amsgile, oh no, Yaivle, the Kamazik, you caused the Chama. So he says, do me a favor, let me go ahead and dilute his cup, and I'll go ahead and serve, master. I'll go ahead and serve.
Is this before or after he became blind?
So he was blind here. Right, he was blind in this case. So he says, let me go ahead and, very good. So let me go ahead and serve Rabbi Yosef. So when he went ahead and served him, and he didn't realize who it was because he was blind, as I pointed out, Amar Hadin Mizgad Adami, Lamizgad Rav Yosef Barchama. Right, this diluting of wine, it tastes like the diluting of Rava, right? Rav Yosef Barchama. Samalei, Hunihu, yeah, that's me. I'm here. How's it go? So Amalei, Latizev Akarecha. Ad the Amar to me Perusha Dahad and Nosan. So didn't appear that he was so upset with him. He says, do me a favor, do not sit until you explain Pshan this pasuk. What's Pshan the pasuk? Over there, it says it's in right the Chukas and right the Midbar. It says it is by the same Midbar Matan Nachliel Bamais. So Amalei Kevan. So now as the pasuk goes, it says. From Midbar to Matana to Nachliel to Bamos, and then the next pasuk also, right? We'll soon see as it will continue. This is Kevin Chais Adam as Atzma Kamidbar. If a person makes himself like a midbar, like a desert, which is what you mufker lekol, which is hefker, then Torah needs not right matana. Then Torah begin to as a matana. Shnamar, as the pasuk says, from the midbar to matana. In other words, from the desert makes it like a desert to matana. But Kevin Chais not a matana and wants to give it as a gift, as a nachla kel. Then Hakadosh Baruch Hu will give him as inheritance. Shnamar matana nachla yel. And then since Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right, Hashem will give him as an inheritance, he will be raised to greatness. Shnamar he goes to the heights. Then if he raises himself, Hakadosh Baruch Hu mashpiu, Hakadosh Baruch Hu alone. Shnamar pasuk says we've always had giyas from the guy from the heights down to the valley. Rather, he will be sunk down into the ground. Shnamar pasuk says. And as point so over here, right? Some interpret the nishkafa, right? Nishka with an ayin, right? Switch on the ayin and pay, and therefore it means sunk, right? Sunk in the ground. And then if it is chayzer, right? Hakadosh Baruch Hu might be Hakadosh Baruch Hu will raise him from the ground. Shnamar, as the pasuk says, because he always does. Kol guy, you not say. So it says every valley will go ahead and be lifted. So then he'll be lifted back up. So that was the chat in the pasuk. Fine. Tanya, we're living in the Brisa, top line and Nun Hey and base on top. Hanaider min hadagan aser apul mitzri yavish. One who goes ahead and makes another from dagan, he's aser. Now in the grains, but even pul mitzri yavish mutter. However, he's mutter belach, that which is still fresh or raw. Mutter ba'oirez b'chilka b'targis b'tisna. He's also mutter in rice and other types of grains that are split, right? Different types of grits that in the amount that split. He's mutter in all those. Those are not included in dagan. And hanaider mean peros hashana. One who goes and makes an error from the fruits of the year. Aser b'chol peros hashana is forbidden for all the fruits of the year. Mutter b'gedim. With talayim, with chalav, with beitzim, with geizos. He's mutter to go ahead with right kids, right, the gedim, right, young goats, right, and young sheep, and young flocks, and milk, and eggs, and chicks, and those all animals basically that are that grew that year. So he's also in those, but he's mutter in those, but he's also in the peros of the trees, of the fruits that grew. The amar gidule shana, but if he says instead of saying right, Peros Hashana, he says Gidule Shana, a lie. Aser B'Kula, and then he's also in all those things. Those things also grew in the year, right? They just didn't grow from the ground, right? They grew, right? The eggs grew, and the goats grew, and all the animals grew. So therefore, those are considered to be Gidule Shana.
Wow.
Hanaider mean Peros Haaretz. One makes another from Peros Haaretz, fruits of the ground. Aser B'Kula Peros Haaretz and Mutter Communal Peaches. Right, he's usher in all fruits, but he's mutter in truffles and mushrooms. But if he says gidule karka as opposed to peros karka, a lie. Usher bekul, and then he's usher also in kamina and capricios, not only in the fruits, but he's also usher in the mushrooms and the truffles. Those are considered to be gidule karka. It says with the Hilchos Brachos, it says that's something that is not Gidula Min Haaretz. So it does not grow, right? Gidula Min Haaretz. Then you make a shackle for Tanya, Al HaMelach, Vel HaZamis, Vel Kmim HaPicha, right? So it says over there, right, for salt and salt water, right, and mushrooms and truffles, you say shahakol. So what do you see over there? Since you say shahakol, it's not considered to be gedule karka, because gedule karka you make adama, you don't make shahakol. So how could you say that the mushrooms are considered to be gedule karka if you make a shahakol on them? So Amar Abaye, mirba rabu mi'ara minek mi'avira yanti v'lei mi'ara. Yes, they are in the ground. They are gedule karka, but they don't draw their nourishment from the ground. They draw that from the air. And since it draws that from the air, so it's different. When it comes to the nadarim, we're talking about that which actually grows in the ground, that's growing in the ground. But since when it comes to brachas, we're talking about the nourishment. It doesn't get nourished from the ground, it gets nourished from the air. Therefore, it's not a hadama, rather it's a shakol ne'abidvara. The Oktani al davar shein gedulim and aretz. It's it says over there by bracha says that which grows from the ground. The Tani al davar shein yoinek min aretz. What it means is something that doesn't go ahead and nourish from the ground. Fine. Now in Mishnah. Mishnah says hanayder min haksus mutter besak aviyira v'chamila. Person says, I will not get any hana from clothing. So he's mutter to go ahead and cover himself with sackcloth, right? Or with the sheets. Or also, chamil is also another type of sheet that doesn't basically give any warmth. So those are not considered to be clothing. Those are therefore not considered to be clothing. Don't wear it. So therefore, that's mutter. A person says he's kainem from wool to be upon me. Mutter these chassid the gizei tzemer. He's okay for him to cover himself, right, in pieces of wool as long as he's not wearing wool. In other words, there is tzemer and this gizei tzemer, right? Tzemer is basically a wool garment, but shreds of wool, right, that one places upon himself doesn't necessarily mean it's clothing. Like I saw someone this week at Makor wearing a blanket in shul. It was a little bizarre. But, all right, fine. Hapishtin, so that's not wearing. That's not clothing. No, he was wearing. I don't know. He was wearing. I think he was wearing a suit or a jacket. Yeah. Hapishtan Ayla. What is this Pishtan, right? Flax to Ayla, lie to God. I mean, Mutilis Kasa to be Nite Pishis. Also go ahead and cover himself with stalks of flax as long as he's not wearing like a flax garment. Right? You have to take from the circumstance. So in other words, if it's ton a person's going ahead and he's under a lot of discomfort from carrying, and he's sweating and he's schwitzing, right? And he's working hard and he's underneath a huge load. And Amar Kainem Semer Pishtim Ayla Alai, basically he's schlepping Semer Pishtim, and he says, you know what? No more. I'm making another no more Semer Pishtim on me after this. Look at this chassid. He's allowed to go ahead and wear wool or flax or wear those items. He can't schlep them. Now his neder, the way he was saying it, he's just saying, I'm not schlepping this anymore. He didn't say I'm not going to wear it, right? He's just saying I'm not going to schlep wool. Right? Doesn't mean I'm not going to wear wool. So it depends on this circumstance. That's what Rabbi Yehuda said. Zog to Gemara. So Tanya, I know one who goes ahead and makes a neder from clothing. Mutter besak riya, v'yiria, the chamila. Right, one is mutter to go ahead and put a sackcloth or the sheets, chamila. The aser, the punda, but he's aser paskia. But he's aser to go ahead and put on these types of a narrow belt or a wider belt. Those are considered to be clothing. Kutia with tavliya, or with a leather shirt or a katvila, right? That's like a vest that goes over the leather shirt. Vanhalia, duplina, and also leather shoes, or a plina is maybe like an undershirt, an undergarment. Michasayim and pants, v'kleiva and a hat. All these things are considered to be clothing, and therefore that is included in naidim and exis. So my is kurti, right? He says sakrutia. So Amarabba Brachana, we said earlier kisuna detsala, right? A shirt which is leather, and that's what that means. Fine. And Tanya, similar we learned in the Brisa, yotzim besak ava, of skus ava, right? One can go on sackcloth, thick sackcloth, or a skus, also another material, not necessarily so warming, but it's thick. These different sheets, you can because of the rain. So in other words, you can use it as a cover for the rain. It's considered to be clothing. About loy, b'teva, v'loy b'kufa, v'loy machzeles, but you can't go ahead and put, let's say, on your head like a basket or a box. To cover yourself from the rain. That's not considered to be clothing. That's considered to be carrying. And harayim and shepherds, yitzim b'sakin, they can go ahead and wear sackcloth, right, on Shabbos. Not just shepherds, rather anybody else should never come to but rather they speak of what's common, right? Normally, shepherds go ahead and wear sackcloth and not others. Rabbi Yehuda said, finally, Rabbi Yehuda said the Mishnah, everything basically goes according to the circumstance. Satani Lina Brisa, Ketan Rabbi Yehuda Hakol Lefi HaNeider. What do we say? Hakol Lefi HaNeider. Haya Lavush Tsemer. If one was going ahead and wearing Tsemer wool, Vahatzar, and he was in discomfort, Vaimer Koinem Tsemer Ola Allah, he makes a neder for Tsemer to be upon him. Aser Livosh, right? Aser for him to go ahead and see his whole discomfort was wearing it. And he says it's forbidden for wool to be upon me. Right? Then it's usher. He's referring to wearing it, but he's mutter to go ahead and carry it. It's allowed to be on him when he's schlepping it. And if he was, however, schlepping it and he was sweating, it was very difficult. And it makes another from Pishtin to be upon him. Then mutter lilbash, he wasn't referring to wearing it. He's allowed to go ahead and wear it. However, rather he was only usher for go ahead and carry it. All right, we'll stop here. We'll continue from here. However,